Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our program tonight. And we are back in session. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Faith-Filled Moms. My name is Tanya Mae Event. I am your host for tonight, and I have a lovely co-host joining me tonight, Ms. Shira. Hello. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So for those of you who usually join, you know our producer Markeisha usually joins me tonight, but she did have her back to school night. Markeisha is a teacher and she had a commitment. So Shira has graciously agreed to join me tonight just to welcome you. So we thank you, whether you're a returning guest or a first-time guest, we thank you for joining us. Go ahead and put in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from. Just come and say hello. Those that I've talked to a couple of people this week who, I watch every week, but I don't say anything. Feel free to put in the chat. Just say hello. We'd love to hear from you.
Say hi.
Yes, please say hi. So I'm going to be doing double duty. We're taking it back a year before Markeisha joined us. So I'm going to be kind of producing on this end and hosting. So it's going to be okay. Everything is going to work out just fine. So I'm excited. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest tonight. So Shira, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to bring in our wonderful guest, Miss Kimberly Garvin. Have a good evening.
See you later.
All right. So Miss Kimberly, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. So welcome to our program tonight. Faith-Filled Moms, Moms Night In. You know that we are discussing our theme for parents of injured athletes. And I want to just share with our audience, you and I met through Facebook maybe about a year ago. Our children went to the same physical therapist, Miss Maggie Burns, who is an absolutely amazing therapist. But I remember she posted something and you commented and I commented, and me being nosy, I went to your profile. Yeah, I went to the profile to take a look and see, more about you, because you just had such a powerful, just what you talked about your son, and I was like, there's something there, there's a story there. So I remember I reached out to you. I'm like, I'm sure I'm going to have a talk about this one day. Would you mind being a guest? And about a year later, here you are. So I'm excited to have you. Would you just say hello to our audience and just let us know a little bit about you?
Hi, man. First, let me just say thank you for the opportunity, and I thank you for the show, because when we were talking earlier, I had said that, I really wish that there was something like this, when we were going through, because it would have for sure have been a support. That Maggie Burns, man.
Yeah.
That woman there is amazing. But my name is Kimberly Garvin. I live in Atlanta. I just recently moved here. And I am a faith-filled mom.
And tell us about your son, who we'll be talking about tonight. I have a picture of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. Him and Maggie. That's my son, Sadiq. He is a faith-filled son, and a basketball player, an athlete, a student, and an all-around good human. He's an author,
Yeah. What's the name of his book? You wrote a book with him?
Yes, he did. He wrote a book, When Oliver Speaks.
And what's that about?
Oh, it's about him. It's about a little brown boy who stutters and overcomes the fear of speaking, and not creates, but he works with his mom to complete this All About Me project, and practices and then presents it kind of, relative to our life
and your experience.
in our experience for
Mhm.
sure, as being a person who stutters. And so, it was him at 8 who said on a train ride into New York, because at the time we were going to say the Stutter Association of the Young. And he was like, I want to write a book. I was like, for what? Like, why do you want to write a book? He's like, because I want to support young people who stutter. All right. And so I just
That's-
pulled out my phone and, he told the story and I took notes.
And he had a story to tell too. That's amazing. Yeah. So when Oliver speaks, and it is available where?
Where all books are sold.
Yes. So
And it's even in Iceland if y'all want to figure out how to get it.
yeah, so I'm gonna put it up here. So look, whether it's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever. When Oliver speaks by Speak Wicks and Kimberly Garvin, please support. And if you especially know someone who does stutter, a child that stutters, I think that would be an amazing resource
for sure
for them to read. So that's awesome. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you.
So it's going to be an amazing night. I'm excited. So we're going to get right into it. But for those that are watching, please, if you've been following us each week, we've had some amazing stories. So if you do know, I know this is tailored towards athletes. And if you do know an athlete who may have been injured and is struggling, or honestly, I think the stories transcend situational occurrences. So if someone is struggling in any area, whether it's a mother with a child or even an adult, I think a lot of the truths that we talk about in our shows really just can help and encourage no matter what someone's going through. So if you know someone that needs encouragement, if they're going through a rough time, invite them in. They don't have to be a mom, even though we're faithful moms talking, but anyone can be here. Anyone can join us. Right. Anyone can listen. And I know anyone can be encouraged by what we're going to be talking about tonight. But specifically, again, if you have a parent that has an injured athlete or a discouraged athlete, please have them join us. And we just pray that they would be blessed by our conversation tonight. So, Ms. Kimberly, before we get into your story, we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight, just a little bit of fun of icebreaking and getting to know you better. Okay. So basically what this part is, it's just, again, icebreaker, like a this or that, hot seat, getting to know you. So really easy, because we're going back to school. We've been doing a back to school theme. So just put yourself back, I don't know how many years ago when you were in school. And I want you to share
high school. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. High school, elementary,
it's
whatever.
The first thing that's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So your first question is, did you prefer math class or English class?
English.
Okay. See, I preferred math. Mm-hmm. So let's say good evening to some of our guests here. Good evening, Mother Elaine. Good evening, Miss Shamika, who was our guest last week. Thank you so much for coming back to join us again, Shamika. It's so good to see you. We so enjoyed you last week. You were so encouraging, and it's interesting. The next day, I just continued thinking about your story and continued thinking about Jawan's faith, that childlike faith. So thank you for sharing your story again. And Miss Hilda, thank you for joining us as well. We are so blessed to have you. We hope you are just blessed by our conversation tonight. All right, Kimberly, next question is, we'll say lunchtime, cafeteria time, pizza or burgers?
I pass.
Neither. You're not eating either one of those. Back in school, you didn't eat those either?
Nah.
I loved Pizza Day. Pizza Friday, that was amazing. That big pizza.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm thinking of lunch now as a teacher.
Like when you were back in school.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, no, I would not eat that. I was a pizza on Friday. Mm-hmm. Friday was pizza day.
That was the best way to end the week.
It was it was like the Ilios pizza.
Yes, the rectangular pizza.
The rectangle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was that.
I wanted the corner all the time. I wanted to have the corner.
Because that was the part that was most cooked.
Mm-hmm. The inside could be very
it was touch and go. It was sketchy. But we knew
it could be flimsy, right?
Right. But that outside, that crust on the corner was for sure cooked.
So I think there's someone here that knows you. Mr. Justin is saying Garvin. Justin Cole.
He my little brother from another mother.
Thank you, Justin, for joining us. It's so good to see you tonight. Welcome.
I miss your face, Justin.
Yes. We thank you for joining. And I do have a relative on here all the way from Florida, Mr. Marlon. So Marlon, thank you for joining us as well. It's good to have the gentleman on tonight with us. We love it when the men join us and come in to talk with us. So welcome. Welcome. Oh, Justin said he misses you as well. All right, next question. Did you do Friday night football, or did you go out with your friends and go to the movies on Friday night?
Movies.
So no football. You didn't hang out for the football games for school?
No.
See,
it's outside.
Yeah. It was good in September and early October when it was warm. That was
not
fun.
Even. It's outside. I'm
so
cool.
You weren't going outside.
not. I mean, I was going outside, but I wasn't going outside to the football game. Not for that.
Okay, studying. Were you a last-minute crammer, or did you schedule your study time?
I had to study. I mean, I had to schedule. I'm a poor test taker.
Really?
Yeah. I need to prepare.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I get little.
You knew that at a young age.
Yeah. I need time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Markeisha is on. Markeisha, we miss you. You have me over here producing and hosting at the same time. But hey, Markeisha, we miss you. We can't wait to have you back next week. So we're missing you tonight. And Shira said last minute. I think that was a combination of both. Sometimes it could be last minute, and then sometimes I could plan. So it would depend probably on the subject. If I like the subject, I probably studied. If I didn't, I probably waited to the last minute and just kind of crammed. And did fine either way. So God is good.
All of the time.
Yes. That was fun. Well, thank you for playing along. Actually, no, I have one more question here.
Okay.
Brown bag or school lunch? Which would you prefer?
Brown bag.
Yeah. So are you a healthy eater?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I just want to shout out to my 8th grade squad at the Globe Academy charter school. I'm not even going to say where it is because I don't know all of that just yet. But the lunches that they pack, what?
So they will hook you up then, huh?
No, they don't share, but it just looks so lovely. There's an array. But
That's nice.
Shout out to my 8th grade squad.
Because I was like a peanut butter and jelly or lunch meat with some chips, a crimpet tasty cake or dessert, and juice box. And that was what my kids had in their brown bag. So
we got Tupperware going. We got Tupperware going over here.
Yeah, once they got to high school, we did the thermos, and I would like warm up things. But when they were elementary, it was cold, cold the whole way.
They play no games with the lunches.
That is too funny. Well, thank you so much for playing along with
Brown
us.
Bag.
One more getting to know you question. I love this question as well. I love asking my moms. What is your favorite scripture? And tell me why. How has it impacted you?
Luke 1:45. And blessed is she who believed in what the Lord oh girl, you better stop playing. And blessed is she who believed in the promises that the Lord made to me.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
You know, and you put your name in it. You put your name in that.
That's right.
And you
I
make
say that
it
as well.
Yeah.
We're blessed when we recite a scripture, and I'm blessed because I believe it.
Yep, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I love that.
I believe he promised me lots of stuff.
I'm
just waiting.
And a lot of times that's what we talk about here in this show is we have to wait on it. And the wait is not fun. I'm the first to tell you, I don't like waiting on God. He's slow. He is not, he's slow.
Man.
He is not on my timeline.
Yeah. No one likes to wait.
Yeah, but that's the joy in the wait. It's the building of our faith in the wait.
It's how you wait too. You know, it's how you wait. For sure.
That's one of our themes that we just say. We just always say, just trust God. Just trust him. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, if you're struggling now, what do you have to lose? Just trust him.
That's funny. I'm giggling because I'm like, you wasn't waiting so nicely when you was waiting for that meniscus, were you? And I was like, no, it wasn't. Because
I'm saying that now.
Right.
I'm waiting nicely now, but catch me tomorrow night. It could be a whole different story. I could be screaming and crying out to God tomorrow. So I don't know.
Right. Like there were days, I had moments, you know, where I was just like, all right, I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to do this. Are you really going to?
What's taking so
Like,
long? Well, if you
why?
can't,
I mean,
why?
like you said, you were.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah,
It's tough.
yeah,
It's tough. But if that's one thing I would ask, and one of the things that Shamika talked about last week, her son, he had a diagnosis and he could not play football. He couldn't play any contact sports.
right.
And I think it was about 5 or 6 years. He had to go to the doctors every 6 months, and every appointment he asked, "Can I play football now?" 6 years. This little boy was waiting because he knew he had the faith that I'm
Right.
not going to keep asking for something I'm not expecting. And that's
Right.
something that kept resonating. Like he just kept asking, and like
My
he never gave
God.
up as a child.
My
He believed that
God.
God was going to heal him so that he can play football, and God sure did. And
That's
he's playing in North Carolina Central now, starting as a cornerback
man.
from faith of a 5, 6 year old. Yeah, yeah. So y'all, I just keep
Man.
saying, y'all keep
They
waiting.
can, yeah.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, those babies will see you through.
Mm-hmm. It's the childlike faith. They're not
Yes.
tainted by life.
No.
Just
No. And it comes so innately.
mm-hmm.
It's from such a place where I don't know, maybe we forget because we're so caught up in, the affect of it all, as well as the effect, but there's just, it's right there. Like you don't even have to reach for it. It's just
If God
right
said he'll
there.
do it, he'll do it. That's it.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right. Man, I remember we were driving back from we were driving back from the doctor, and I asked Sadiq, I was like, so, that's what he said. Like, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And first he was like, well, can we go to Ishka Bibbles? And I was like, well, yeah, because it is kind of an Ishka night, right? Because we got to talk through some things. And I was like, no, but like, really, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to learn how to walk again. Then I'm going to run.
Even though the doctor said he wouldn't be able to.
Exactly.
And you get into your story, so cut it out so we can get into it. So let's
right,
go
ahead.
In prayer. We're going to go ahead and
okay.
get into the story. Oh, dear God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for Kimberly. We thank you for Sadiq, God. We thank you for their story. We thank you for every person that is watching us now and those that are going to be joining us in the future. Lord, we thank you for this testimony of your goodness, of your grace, and just the learning in the wait that we can wait on you, that you are faithful to your word, God.
Yeah.
No matter how long it takes, God, help us in our wait. Just bless us. Allow the words that we speak tonight be able to just minister and encourage someone who is struggling in their wait and is waiting on you and questioning if you're even there, God. Please show them through our conversation that you are there, that you care, and that your plan is in motion. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so let's put the website up there. Your full blog is going to be published at faithfulmoms.org tomorrow. So we are excited about that. We're just going to touch upon some high-level topics tonight in our conversation. We don't have enough time to go through everything, but everyone can read your blog there. So if you have not already, please go to the website, enter your email address, and you will get a copy of that blog sent to your email tomorrow morning. So let's get into it. Sadiq, we've talked about him, and he is your son. But I want you to talk about how he was introduced to the game of basketball. How did he decide that was going to be his? You said in your story, his jam, his thing. How did this come about that he had a love and a passion for basketball? And then as you talk about that, also talk about as he's playing the first injury that he actually experienced at only 8 years old.
Okay. I don't really know how it was that he decided that he was going to play basketball. Maybe he watched it on TV. His sister played softball.
Mm-hmm.
He has an older sister, and she played softball. And, he was like a traveling sibling to these AAU softball.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He was but I really don't know where the basketball came from. I just know that, when he was in like the second grade, I found myself like helping, the teams and coaching, right? I just knew that that's what we were doing. And then as he got older, it was, I'm going to go to Duke and I'm going to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I want to do. And I want to get better. And, you want to get better? All right. Because I'm a little competitive. And so I'm like, let's get better,
Mhm.
and then, like every mom, you begin to, take those, you get the classes and you find the teams and you do the practices and then you play and you think, all right, we're going to get better and, we're going to go to high school and be better and then, go to college and be
Yeah, we have
better.
big dreams.
Right. We
Right.
have big
Right.
dreams.
Mhm. Mhm.
Until like at 8, he like bumped knees with someone and
Like
tore his,
seemingly innocent, an innocent bump, and that happens all the time.
that happens all the time. And he tore his meniscus. We're
At
like,
eight.
what?
At 8 years old.
Right. Like,
Mhm.
what? Do they even, like, is that a thing? Like, well, how hard did you bump?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and
And go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
I was
no,
gonna say with that tearing of the meniscus, he has to have surgery at 8 years old.
for sure. Yep.
And I, of course, surgery as a mom, having to see your child have surgery, it's having them to go under and just kind of know what they're going to go through, and just even see them in pain. It's
Right.
difficult as a mom to see that, but God was with you that whole time and just making provision for you. I know when we talked, you shared that you weren't working and you didn't
Nope.
have insurance. So talk about God's provision during this period after finding out that he had to have surgery, and just how God provided for you during that period.
So I wasn't working and he was playing at a gym. He's
Mhm.
playing at a gym in Voorhees. Um, and he hurt himself there, and his knee was starting to swell up. And maybe that was like maybe that was where we were and his knee started to swell up again, and they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, what should I do?
Mhm.
Like, I don't really
I'm new
know.
at this, right? Yeah.
Right. I'm
Mhm.
kind of new at this. Like, these injuries are new. And so they were like, hold on, we're going to call a guy. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we know a guy. He's going to come over. I'm like,
Mhm.
man, stop playing. Like, this is my kid. And they called Dr. Wetzler. And he comes over in his scrubs. Maybe it took him like 10 minutes or whatever. It didn't take him long at all.
Mhm.
Sadiq is, laid up, and he makes some like snarky jokes or whatever, ask who I am, and like just real, regular,
Mhm.
but not. And long story short, he looked at Sadiq and he said, bring him in tomorrow. And he like took care of him.
Nothing out of your pocket.
No,
Nothing.
he took care of it.
But
You know,
and I think about that when you tell me that some people can go bankrupt from that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that could be a financial devastation for them, not having insurance and having to have their child have surgery and all the medical treatment that's required. So it's just like I said, for me, that was like the first thing. Like, God, thank you for that provision. Like you absolutely take care of your own.
for
It's just
sure.
it's unheard of. It really is unheard of.
Yeah,
So Sadiq recovers at this point, and he's back on the court where he loves, where at his first love, playing
right.
basketball. So we'll fast forward a couple years later. He's 10, and literally has like the same repeat of an injury
On the other knee,
on the other knee. So
on
talk
the
about
left
your
knee.
experience. Right, talk about your experience having to deal with another meniscus tear at 10 years old, and then knowing your son's going to go through another surgery at this
So we
point.
go back.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, what happened now? I don't know. We're bumping knees. I don't know what happened, but like, here we are. We're
Mm-hmm.
back at Doc. We're back with Doc because he's now the orthopedic, right. And so now we just go to him. Like,
Mm-hmm. Your doctor.
he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's our
Mm-hmm.
doctor. And so he tears the meniscus on the left knee, and he's back in surgery. And we're like, that's just so weird.
Yeah.
But he still wants to play. And we do the same thing again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We rehab, same thing.
Everything
You know,
over again. Just
everything
opposite me.
over.
Everything over again.
He's up, recovered, and now he's older, and he wants to play he wants to play in he wants to play in Philly.
He wants to upgrade, right?
Right,
Wants
he
to play
wants
some
to
serious ball.
upgrade, and he wants to upgrade. He wants to play in Philly because the competition is, is different than where we were. And so I'm like, all right. And so we go to Philly and we start playing there, and things are well, and he's getting better, and it's really cool, and we're happy, and we got a little flow going,
and
we get another injury.
it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
When I read your story and when we talk, like, this is absolutely bananas, because he's okay. Both knees have torn, meniscus has torn and being healed and going to rehab, and has a good stretch. I think about 3-4 years.
Yeah,
right?
But we're like, nothing's happened.
Yeah, thank God.
Right.
At that point, sometimes you could just be frantic anytime your child steps on the court after they have an injury.
Right.
Like, anytime they go down or whatever, it's like your heart stops. Like, Lord, please just cover them and protect them and keep them.
Yeah.
But at this point, things are going well. He's playing ball. He's playing in a more difficult league, and he's really thriving.
Right.
And again, having those dreams of playing, he's playing. You just mentioned playing his video games, and he's seeing himself in high school, scholarship for college, NBA. That's his dream.
Yep.
And then a collision, same thing. Like, just again, to me, the crazy thing is it's just regular incidences and contact that happens in basketball all the time. Like, nothing out of the ordinary happened to him. He literally had regular contact
in basketball. And maybe one time, like maybe one time you fall, but like you get up, and it's not like, it's just regular contact. No, it's not regular for him. It wasn't.
Yeah. So what's regular for everybody else,
not regular for him.
Right. So and because of a certain diagnosis that he eventually receives, that you determine that. So he's got to go through another MRI. And so talk about now the doctor, I guess even the doctor's like, this, something's not right here, where, something's, again, seemingly regular contact that people happens to us all the time with no issues is to basically putting him off his feet and having him in surgery. So talk about this final time, this collision, you all going back to the doctors and actually finding out what's going on with his meniscus.
So we just knew it was a tear, right? We just knew it was a tear. And because that seemed to be the thing with him, right? And so we just kind of figured this last time, it was a tear, it would be repaired, and we would just be on our way, because that had been the established precedent, so to speak. But he was in surgery. And Dr. Wetzler comes out and says, I got to take it all. There's not enough for me to save. And I'm going to get him a transplant. But give me a call tomorrow. I was like, wait, what? Wow. I got to go back. I got to go back. I love him too. And I was just like, wait, what is happening? And that's what happened. There was not enough meniscus to save. It turned out that Sadiq had like a discoid meniscus, different than like your regular shaped. It had been giving him trouble, unbeknownst to us. And after all, like the wear and tear, he ended up having to take all of the meniscus tissue, and Sadiq was literally bone on bone while he waited for a transplant.
And I went and researched that, for that discoid meniscus, and as I was reading, some people go through it their whole life and never gives them any issues. And I'm sure it's because, again, you're young,
right?
You're using that in playing contact sport, that I'm sure is just, it's working it, and just, again, like any type of
it wasn't, but it wasn't built for that.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not what it was built for. So there's like no way around that, really.
So this is my thing, and I know we're not supposed to question God, but it's like, I'm like, God, why you give this boy this much talent? Like you say, God created us. He created every part of us, and so He knew how his meniscus were shaped. and again, these are things I say. I say that I'm going to
Right.
question God when I get to heaven. I'm sure I
Right.
won't. I'm sure I'll be in awe. But I just, certain things you just wonder. I say the same thing about my daughter. Like, God, you made her, like, you gave her such an amazing gift. Why would you take it away? Like, why would you do that? Tell me why. I don't understand.
I think like he puts desires in our hearts, and my response today, based on my relationship with him, is that wasn't his desire for him.
That's right. That wasn't his plan.
That was
that
just
plan.
and because he's sovereign, he could do that.
That's right. That's and period. That's the period right there. No follow-up needed.
That's it.
Yeah, Diane said, she said the same thing when her daughter got injured. Yeah, you find yourself questioning, like, God, you bless these children with this talent. But again, that's of course, our desire, and that's when we have to turn our desire over to Him. But you must have something better in store. You must have something better.
For sure. And so we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see.
We back to the waiting room.
We back to the waiting room, and it's cool because this time we know, how to wait a little bit better.
A little bit better.
We're
growing.
better.
We're growing.
Yep, we're growing. It's progress, not perfection.
That's right. That's right. Any
progress,
yes, it may be imperfect, but it's progress.
For sure.
So the difference with this diagnosis now is he needs to have his meniscus replaced. Like you said, he doesn't have any meniscus now. His bone on bone. And this was a part of your story that I loved when you were told that he had to have his meniscus had to be replaced. You said you looked around for God, waiting for Him to tag you in because you were just like, this can't be happening, and I can't deal with this.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what to do.
So y'all were y'all were wrestlers on TV. Y'all were tag team wrestling and just look at it was time to tag you out and him come in and take it over for you.
A meniscus. I was like a transplant, a cadaver. What? Like Grey's Anatomy type? Like what? Like come on, man! I can't do this here.
Yeah, and I love that analogy. I think because anyone who has grown weary in the wait or weary in the struggle or weary in whatever they're going through, sometimes, again, even as Christians, people that are strong in their faith, we still can get weak. We still can get to a point that we have to take a knee. We have to just be like, God, it's just too much. I can't.
Right.
And I love the fact that He's always there. His word says He's made perfect, strength is made perfect in our weakness. Right. So that in that situation, we can tag team, give our weakness over to Him, and He can carry us. And it's also important to have people to walk alongside of us and be able to encourage us as well. But He provides, but He doesn't expect us to be stoic and just standing on His faith all the time and never having a humanistic experience of feeling weary, feeling sad, feeling, all those things that we feel because we are human, and He did give us those emotions as well. That doesn't mean we're not standing in faith and we're not believing Him. It just means we're human and we have regular natural emotions and responses.
Sure. Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah. So I love in that moment, and you're honest about that moment, but still able to pick yourself back up, and you're going through a period of months now. Because, unfortunately, somebody has to pass away or whatever situation it may be for your son to have, this meniscus for his knee. And so you're really in the waiting room now. You're really in a period of waiting for God to come through in that way. But as you're waiting, you're praying, you're praising, you're struggling. Again, that humanistic side, we're still struggling as we grow weary. But still kind of picking ourselves back up and being able to just continue to pray and praise like any mom, hopefully would. But, again, as moms, when our children are hurt, when our children are struggling, we experience it. We go through it. Yeah. And I think one thing that I've been saying even lately is just as we have those feelings for our children, they're God's kids too. And so I've been praying now, God.
Oh, for sure.
Bless child.
Right.
Like you're her father. I'm praying for our child because I've got to acknowledge that he's her father. He loves her and cares for her even more so than I do. And I have to really make sure that I'm viewing him not only as my father, but as her father, who is a loving and caring father for her as well.
Right. For sure. That's a good prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, and I talked about having that support. You had support of someone at your church. You had a young lady stop you in church, and I think at that point you shared you were feeling kind of low. Talk about that experience. Talk about how you're feeling. A couple of months in, and really just waiting on God. Talk about that encounter with that young lady and kind of how that changed your thinking and also your future prayers.
Sure. So Tamika was like a youth leader at Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
And so she first met Sadiq, and Sadiq is very stoic, right? Unless like it's something that like he's really digging. He's just
faces.
Yeah. And it's like kind of hard to read, but they are only on loan to us. And it was like, I guess kind of like her goal, I guess, to kind of break that a little bit and just to make him more inclusive in like the child, like the young adult service.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just kind of took a liking to him. She also loves my daughter. And so, it was nothing. And so, like their relationship with her, like wanting to be like interested or invested in him and what he was doing. But God, for real, will send people to remind you, and to encourage you. People, again, like you don't really like suspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of going through the day to day. And when your children are injured and are going through, you excuse me, you like adopt this tunnel vision, and all I could see and think about was like getting a meniscus. Like I was like legit obsessed with getting a meniscus. And it wasn't, and it was, and Sadiq was still playing, right? Like when he wasn't supposed to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, you're making this you're making this like that much more difficult. Like
putting more stress on me, right? Having to worry about you.
On me because like you're playing and you could like injure yourself more. And now like it's bigger than the meniscus. Now we need like a whole new leg. Like where's that coming from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? And so we're in church and she's like, hey, what's going on? And I was just like, I'm cool because I'm just gonna go.
The regular answer. I'm okay.
I'm cool.
That's
she's
not
like,
favorite.
She's like, no, like what's going on? Like he, like he's on crutches today. Cause sometimes you gotta get off the leg. And I'm like, yeah, I'm praying for a meniscus. She's like, what? And so like I run the story down just like the quick version, and she's like, what have you been doing? And I'm praying, I'm praying, waiting on God. She's like, did you thank him? I was like, I'm sorry, what? Did you thank him for the meniscus
that I don't have yet?
That I don't have. Yeah, did you thank him? And then, we got to thank him. Okay. All right. So now I get it. There's like a formula, you worship, you pray, and you got to thank. Right? You got to thank him in advance. Okay. And so, that for sure, the thank you piece was what was missing. I'm going to say it was missing in my prayer life. And it was probably missing in like my day to day in terms of like being grateful or showing thanks, you know what I mean? Towards like really othering, so to speak. And so, once I understood the thank you, I was just adding that on like, like sincerely, because, the thanking him was like a true demonstration of the faith that I needed to believe that he was going to get a meniscus and he was going to be fine. And I just thanked him.
We shared a lot last season, Philippians 4:6. Don't worry about anything, but in everything with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God.
Yeah.
And we actually, with Marquise,
he will give you the desires of your heart.
But it's a matter of leaving it with him.
Yeah.
Like you said, you thank him, and then you had to go on about your day and not be like, okay, I'm thanking you. Is it here yet?
Right.
Look at it here yet. You
Right.
had to thank him
Right.
and then go on about your life until
Yeah.
it came through.
Right. But you can still, I mean, I feel like you can, he wants you to, it's okay to ask again. It's okay. Yeah, for sure. It's okay to remind. It's okay to, it's okay.
Like it's been 5 months, God. I'm still
Right,
waiting.
like-
I'm still trusting and thank you, but what's
I
going
was
on?
just, hey, like it's because he knows, and he loves us. And I believe like he expects that because, it's kind of like the relationship. It's the father-child
Mhm,
relationship,
mhm.
It's the, hey, are we there yet? And
It's
that's
Shawan.
the
It's Shawan going
role.
back to the doctor asking, "Can I play yet? Can I play?" It's the same thing. I'm going to
Exactly.
keep asking because I'm still
Exactly.
expecting.
Because I'm expecting.
Because when you stop asking and you stop believing, maybe like you're not expecting God to move anymore.
Right. And so if you don't move, then he's not. He's a gentleman. Right?
Yeah, it's deep. Yeah, that's
You gotta believe.
Mhm,
You gotta believe.
mhm.
You have to.
And yeah, I think go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, and it really, and I know it's easy for me to say, but like it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it feels like. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. You have to, with your whole heart, just trust that he is doing a thing
A new
for
thing.
you.
A new thing.
Behold, do you not see it? Right? Do you not see it? And what I've discovered, like even when in my weight, it's okay to be like, all right, so do you think, I call it the Gideon effect. So, make that wool wet, make it dry,
Can you give me an example, God? Can you
Right.
just give me a sign that it's
Right.
on its way?
That it's
while I'm
on its
waiting?
way,
Mhm.
and I believe he digs that too,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it honors that because again, it speaks to the level of trust and faith that you have that he's gonna do it.
I think any which way we engage him,
Yeah,
because we're meant to fellowship with him. So whatever that engagement looks like, whether it's being thankful, whether it's asking, whether it's praying, whatever it is, the fact that we're engaging him and coming to him, I
for
think that's
sure.
what matters the most. And whichever way and wherever we are in our walk and whichever way we want to approach him, the fact that we are approaching him is what's most important.
For sure. He's legit. I'm gonna meet you where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
not going to judge us.
No. No judgment. No judgment.
So after your prayers changed and you are thanking him by faith for that meniscus to come, you receive a call. So let us know what happens after those prayers change and God responds.
So we did get the call and he got the meniscus. And the surgery was like a pretty big deal because that's that looks a lot different than like a tear.
It's a tear, yeah.
Right. And we were told that he was never gonna like leave his feet again in terms of like jumping, like athletically. Like he would never leave his feet, and that he should probably take up swimming.
Wow.
Because, that was it. And I was like, all right, we gonna see. Because I don't believe that.
So you can say, Doc, what you want to say, but we're going to believe God.
I'm believing God because God is not a God of limits. How are you going to heal my son and give him a meniscus and then tell him he can't run? Right? Like, that's silly. God don't do that.
Yeah. So share with us what happens. He's now in high school because this happened right before high school, right?
Right.
So
this
now
is right before high school. So his
right.
freshman year is kind of like blown because
with us. That's what happened to us in July for my daughter's freshman
year. And socially, that was so hard. I think that was probably harder than the surgery, maybe, or like as equally as difficult because they're your peers and people have already made friends and cliques have been developed, and now you're trying to navigate with crutches, and you got to find someone who's gonna like be like committed to your legit walk because they got to get you from point A to point B. And I know that was a lot.
Yeah.
That
My
was
daughter was
that
the daughter with the brace, the girl with the brace in school. Everybody knew her. Oh, the girl with the brace. Yeah.
that was
Whole
a
year.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him like slipping,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
So what'd you do
I
about that?
after I prayed, you know, and kind of got myself together
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, I need to figure out, I just, you know, I didn't like what I saw, you know, I had to figure out what I was going to do, you know, or how that affected me. And then I was just like, well, we just have to fix that. And I think it just so happened, maybe it not even just so happened. I think I was calling around to like see what was going on or what could he do on Saturdays that was, you know, that would eat up the AAU basketball
The time that he knew he would be.
time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I don't even remember how, but I found a photography class at Temple,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have a camera, anything, right? And I wasn't buying one because I knew what this was. You know what I mean? Like, we just passing through here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just need this for a little bit.
For now, for this
For
short
now, we
term.
need this
For
for
short
now. It's
term.
a short term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I signed him up for the class, for the Saturday class, and made him take photography.
And was
And
able to get that
because
paper.
and
Mm-hmm.
because he's the kid that he is, you know, and I'm sure he understood without words. He went, and things were cool. He met some people,
Mm-hmm.
rode the train, took some pictures, you
Which he wouldn't have
know.
been able to do playing basketball. Never
No,
would experience it playing
no, you
basketball.
know, and it was different. It was different. And he's got an artistic brain. And so, you know, it helped to develop that part and kind of shape him more.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah.
as I mentioned earlier in the show, our connection is our therapist, our physical therapist, because Kennedy had the
Maggie.
same therapist, Miss Maggie, who is broke my heart. When I tell you she would tell us she was moving to Montana, broke my heart. Like, you can't, like, who, how could you leave? You can't leave us.
Yeah.
You can't leave
Yeah.
us. But just
Yeah.
talk about Maggie and her impact that she had on Sadiq's therapy and his rehabilitation.
Man, first of all, like, Maggie's got like the heart of a giant.
Mm-hmm. And she's what? Not even 5 feet, is she?
No,
Yeah,
she's not even 5 feet. She probably don't even weigh 100
no,
pounds.
she's very petite, very skinny, very
Very
small.
petite,
Yes,
very petite,
she's
very
a
fit.
firebird. She's a
She
firebird.
is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
petite, very fit, very strong, um, and very instrumental in changing Sadiq's mental, you know, and his physical.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Man, she was just, you know, before she left to go to Montana, she did a handoff with his like current physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she showed up and was like, okay, nope, do this. Nope, you have to do this. Nope, that's wrong. You know, like, yeah, she was something else.
Yeah, yeah. And I keep telling her I'm gonna go to Montana because I love the pictures of the sky that she posts. So
Oh
I'm gonna,
man,
you know,
yeah. All right, well, when you go, let me
I'll
know.
let you know. That's right. We can meet up
And then
there.
we'll crash, like, we will meet up there. We'll meet and then we'll
Yes,
crash.
I would
Like,
love it. I would love.
We'll crash Maggie's house
I love
for
it.
sure.
Another topic that I want to make sure I bring up today in our conversation was your prayers over Sadiq. You were praying, and you have prayed, you know, over the
Yeah.
course of his life as well, very specific prayers, specifically about certain characters and characteristics of people from the Bible. Talk about those prayers. What kind of led you to do that, and talk about those prayers and how God has responded to those.
So when I was carrying Sadiq, I was a bit of a mess,
Mm-hmm.
like just a mess, and I just knew that I needed someone to lead me, like, here, right? Like, I knew God was God and he sits high, but like, I felt like I needed a physical to lead, and I knew that the little boy that I was carrying, was going to be that kid, that person to me. And so from the womb, I was just like, can you, you know, make him like David, you know, make him wise like Abraham, like, make him strong. Like and then the last thing I said was make him a leader like Moses.
And the amazing thing about that is he had something else in common with Moses.
Yeah, because, Moses stuttered. And
Stuttered.
Sadiq didn't talk until maybe he was like a year and a half. Like maybe. And when he did, he stuttered.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what? No. Really? But even before he talked, when I held him and our eyes met, I knew God was there.
Yeah.
I knew. And people used to tell, like, not people, one person literally asked me, what was that light that she saw behind him one day?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, that's
Like
the
an
Holy
aura.
Spirit. Yeah. And so I know legit he's not mine. Like he is definitely
he's on loan. I think someone else put it
on loan.
Yes,
Yeah. He is not
I saw
mine.
that. They're only on loan to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not mine.
Yes.
No.
I love it. I love it. And speaking of which, I know this is a bit off topic, but I like to be informative in this as well. When we talked, you talked about a stuttering card that he carries around. Now that he's out and driving, talk about that. I don't know, in case there's other people out there who's maybe children have that stutter, but talk about the impact of a stuttering card, especially with young people, getting behind the wheel as well.
So Sadiq is a person who stutters, and he's Black. And he's a male. And I thought it was really important that when he leave my house to run errands in his car, that he come home. And I thought that in the event that he was stopped, because I know the hardest thing for a person who stutters to say is their name, that he could have a stuttering card. And I think it was the NSA maybe who had like kind of like blurb, like did like a little blurb about it. But I created one for him, and it has like his name and his speech advocate and his phone number, and just kind of breaks down the different types of stutter so that, an officer isn't, put off by, what they're about to encounter.
Especially nervous. A nervous young man.
For sure. In communication with him. I started to say he'd probably be less nervous with the police officer than he is with me, but probably not.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I thought that was really important. And so, giving him the advantage, and also, informing other people of his stutter, as well as like he has someone, right? Because Sadiq gives all of the cards, he gives the license, the registration, the insurance, and the card. So I know for a fact you have all four.
And so the officer has
there's no question.
That's
right. You have you have
mm-hmm.
everything you need. Because I know, right? So
I love that. Because I just wanted to share that because I thought that was powerful. And again, it's something that I would never thought of. But the fact that if there is a need out there, I just wanted to make sure we communicated and educated our audience
right
for that, because I think that's powerful. Well,
my sister, to give them the answer, like we gotta help, we gotta protect when we can.
It's it's accommodation. It's a form of accommodation
for sure.
Yeah. This has been amazing. It has been such a joy to meet you.
It's over.
It's almost over. Did it go fast?
It did go fast.
Yes. We have to be off of here in an hour, because if we're not, we can't replay it for people.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so
make sure that we watch our time.
Yes, and for sure we're gonna plan a trip to go crash Maggie's.
Yes, we are going to.
Maggie, I hope you're listening. We're coming, and we're bringing the kids.
I didn't say that. No,
I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm bringing Sadiq. He want to go. He want to go hang out.
I'll think about that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask you. First of all, like I said, I love your light. I just love who you are, and just the joy and the beauty that you bring. So thank you.
That's God, man. That's
yes,
God.
yes.
That's all God.
So I'm going to ask you just to impart some closing words and thoughts for our audience. Just summary and just encouragement about your journey, and just to encourage anyone that may be listening on a similar journey as yours.
If you allow God to really be like Lord over your life, you have no idea how, your life will change. There's no one that's going to love you the way God loves you, period. No one. No one's going to do for no one. You just got to trust them.
Yeah.
Just trust them a little bit.
Just start.
Just trust them a little bit. Just move a little bit. Just trust them a little bit. They say if you have the faith of a mustard seed, but I'm just a little bit. Just practice. Practice trusting him a little bit. A little bit. Like Alan, but like for real. It's practice for real. Like this, you really got to practice. Not like Allen Iverson's practice. Like you for real got to practice. Practice trusting God a little bit.
Yes. And what I love what you said earlier is a lot of times we're trusting and believing something, but then we're focusing on what we see, what we hear, what we sense. And with that little bit of faith, you cannot be swayed with what your senses are picking up about your situation. If you believe in God for something, you got to just believe him regardless of what you see. Regardless,
you got to stand flat-footed and be like, I believe it. And I don't care what you say. I believe it. And what? Like, get like gully with it. Like, like I'm for real. Because the enemy is coming to attack you and sway,
and
right?
take it away from you, right?
He is coming. For sure, he is coming. He is coming. And you can't, not when it comes to your kids. You can't be no punk.
That's right.
You can't be no punk. So you got to get gully with it and be like, look, it is what it is. God said he going to do it. And what?
That's right.
That's
you can't have them. You cannot have them.
You can't have them. Right?
That's right.
Make sure you move your neck and stuff. Be like,
a little bit of attitude with it.
Give a little attitude with it. Be like,
Yes. So Miss Hilda, thank you. I enjoyed the conversation as well. I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much for joining us. And to everyone that joined us, we had a wonderful time. So we are going to see you on Facebook. If you have any questions for Kimberly, we will join the Faithful Moms Facebook page. If you have not joined, please join. We will go and say hello to everyone and greet everyone. But we want to say again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you
next
for having
week is
me.
our final session for this topic. So we do have Pastor Monica Gardner, who's going to be joining us. Her daughter, English Gardner, is a gold medalist Olympic champion, and she has she has an amazing story to share as well. So I'm excited about Pastor Monica joining us and closing us out.
I had the privilege of meeting Miss English.
Yes,
when she was a high schooler.
Okay, and we're at Eastern, right?
At Eastern, yes. Miss English.
So that will be our guest. So make sure you come back next week as well.
For sure.
Yeah, we're going to have a wonderful time closing out the conversation. Like I said, I as I'm going through each story, I can relate to each mom. There's been things that have said that we're all kind of in this sisterhood, of sorts of just being able to trust God through the pain and the injury and just what our children are going through. But everyone,
you're doing a great thing.
Thank you.
You're doing
again,
a great
thank you for being a guest. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I want to say good night to everyone. Thank you again for joining, and we hope to see you next week. Until then, God bless.